All right, let's start how I would any other Slushwave track and just drag in the sample. Now this is an ambient style sample that I've made here. We'll just give it a little listen. So we have an A section with pads, and then we have a B section with more pads and piano as well. So I'm going to slow it down through Logic's flex time with the speed setting. This is going to slow down the pitch and tempo proportionally. So if I put this at 80, we then have a beautiful slow down sample ready for some slush effects. So let's turn on Transcendence and hear what it sounds like out of the box. So as you can hear there, already we have a pretty complete slush chain. So let's go through the plugin itself. And this is what we're greeted with. We have this lovely screen here, which is very interactive. The scene depends on how your dials are and also reacts to the music. We have the compressor and vector scope here. We have the processor bypassing here. We have the main dials at the bottom here, and we also have delay and phaser controls on the right. So let's focus first of all on the three main dials. So we have Dream State, Deep Love and Beauty, and essentially they change various elements of the reverb and phaser controls, which are tailored to Slushwave, and particularly in this scene it's tailored to down-tempo ambient adjacent pieces. So Dream State is a wide variety of reverb sounds and textures, reverb intimacy and phaser strength. So if we just play around with this for a little bit. You can hear it change as you change the dial. So that gives you a fun range to play with. It's quite some classic wide Slushwave sounds and also some phasery ones. So you can really build your atmosphere just from this one dial. Deep Love is for bass control. This is going to help you with loud basses if you want your bass to be clearer. As you can see, compressor sensitivity to kicks and bass with phaser and reverb compensation. So also the bass width of the reverb, that'll change. It's quite a subtle effect, but it's really useful in taming low ends if you have some heavy energy in the low frequencies. And the final one is Beauty, reverb evolution over time. This is basically your reverb modulation. It's a beautiful texture to have in Slushwave. It can kind of sound like a bit of a chorusy effect, but it just adds a whole nother level to the reverb itself. So if we just listen to that. So you can hear the pitch bends there. If I turn this back down, lovely sound there. So these main dials are your bread and butter. This is what's going to change the bulk of your Slushwave sound and can really let you explore a lot of the versatility of what you can do with Slushwave just from reverb and phaser changes. Over to the right here we have the delay and phaser controls. We'll just quickly look at the phaser here. So we have a barber pole phaser in the chain, and you can change it between up and down. So I'm going to turn up Dream State where the phaser is quite high, and we'll just solo the phaser here. So that's up mode, and then down mode. Okay, so I've loaded an upbeat sample here into the project, but I have actually the stems for this track. So we can play around with the delays and other individual features of Transcendence on different stems, which is a great Slushwave production technique. It allows you to build loads of complex layers and textures through your soundscapes. So this is a sort of upbeat 80s sample that I quickly made. You'll just hear that. So it has me singing, and then we have a verse as well. So what we're going to do is we'll add different delays and effects to the individual elements of these stems. So we'll go through the delay patterns. First of all, we have just the regular simple delay. We then have a 2-tap stereo delay. So this is the classic Slushwave 2-tap delay, but panned over a stereo field, and that's controlled by the delay spread dial here. So at 100%, it's hard pan left and right essentially. So if we go to the verse, you can hear this better. I hate dreams. We have the shortened delay for making complex offbeat rhythms. So this will be more noticeable on the drums. So we'll use that there. And then the ping pong stereo delay. So with that in mind, we will now slow the track down. So I'm going to do the same thing. I have the flex time on, just like we did with the downbeat sample. And so now we have all these slowed down. So for the vocals, I'm going to put the ping pong stereo delay on. I think that creates a really nice sound. So if we solo these, we can hear that. For the instrument layer here, what I normally do when I stem split is I like to make the instrument layer sort of slightly ethereal. It adds a really nice pad-like texture to this. So I've loaded here Garden of Eden, which is actually the scene used for ambient adjacent Slushwave. And I've just got the reverb soloed here so we can hear what this sounds like. And without. So it just adds a blanket warmth, which is really nice when we come to mix this. So on the drums here, as I said earlier, this is where we're going to use the early 2-tap delay, which is going to create some wonderful textures through complex polyrhythms. If I put it on half note with quite a 50% degradation and quite a high delay level, and we get a beautiful. That's really groovy, and that's going to add a lot to the background textures. I'm not going to do anything to the bass. It's always nice to keep the bass untouched before you actually go through the processing. So we have these 4 elements here, and we have a master Transcendence. So these are all bus to this here. And this is where we have the main Transcendence. So I've got the reverb, phaser, compressor, and multiband here, but not the delay because we have the separate delays as we've been through. So let's just give that a listen. So the dials for the upbeat scene, as you can see, we have the etherealness quite low. That means the reverb time is quite short, which is great for upbeat tracks. We have the energy very high, which is going to create that punchy sound. And the atmosphere, this is basically the roominess quality of the reverb. You know, the lower it is, the more ethereal and unrealistic, and the higher, the more like a realistic room it sounds. So let's do a final A-B comparison just to see what that sounds like. Beautiful.